So back in the day, I was one of the first 30 Airbnb employees. That's kind of how I made money, and it's how I have funded the pursuit of my dreams. I recognize that that is a great privilege, and I'm incredibly lucky to be able to now be pursuing my dreams. And it wasn't always that easy. I grew up in New Orleans. My parents are immigrants from Argentina. They're Jews, and I think there's a lot of pressure in immigrant communities and in Jewish communities to succeed. And I interpreted all of that as a kid to mean that I had to go make money and be successful and do things that were really impressive. In that process, to kind of like still fulfill the needs of, getting my parents' approval, I did things like getting a Harvard degree, working at Google. I did things that were impressive externally, but they didn't bring me a whole lot of meaning. After I graduated from Harvard, I tried to be a travel show host on TV back in 2008. I had a quick program that I did called Not in Your Guidebook. I want a hug! Yeah! 5-1! I didn't believe in myself, and the pressure of not having money, my parents cutting me off, all of that stuff led me to kind of panic, really kind of talk real negatively about what I was doing, not believe in myself, and I was like, oh, what do I do? And so that's when I pursued a career in tech. I almost tunnel vision got a job at Google. That's pretty impressive. It's cool, but it was an awful job. I was basically clicking a button and being like, hey, Google Ads shouldn't be serving here because it's against the policies. I was like a monkey pressing a button all day long. I got really good at ping pong. That's pretty cool. In this process, this woman named Venetia, who I'd met trying to be a travel show host back in the day, she reaches out to me, has just joined a company as one of the first 5 employees called Airbnb. I kind of start hanging out with these early Airbnb employees, and I ended up getting a job there. And I just joined this crazy, funky company filled with really, all these quirky characters like me that just wanted, to travel, and we all believed in this technology that would bring people together. Airbnb ends up being probably my most successful professional endeavor. Maybe from a monetary perspective, I'll never reach the level of success that I reached with Airbnb. But I knew that something wasn't fully, lighting up my heart. And what do? I think I need more money and more success. So I look at all the signals that Airbnb had, and I joined other companies that inevitably weren't as fun, I wasn't as passionate about, weren't as successful. And so I kind of forgot that the reasons why I had joined Airbnb actually were much more closely connected to following my heart and my passion. Fast forward to now. I'm finally in this zone, back to pursuing my passion. I'm doing it in a way that's more in line with my heart than ever. It's in line with my personal journey and personal meaning, and so I'm feeling all this energy bubbling. And look, I don't know if I'm gonna be successful at this. I don't really fully care, because I know that when I pursue something from my heart, good things happen. And that can happen in the world of making money. It can happen in the world of pursuing a dream like the one I'm pursuing now. And I don't mean this in terms of like the universe will open up and provide. I really don't mean that. Like, I do know that something happens to me energetically when I'm touching something that is alive inside of me. If it were just connected to money or ego or fame or external validators, I probably wouldn't stick with it. Okay, sure, I get kind of like overwhelmed at times because I'm like, shit, how am I gonna take care of my body while I do this? How am I gonna ground? Because we already know the dangers of not grounding. Check out the video about how I was drugged and robbed in Colombia 2 years ago. I'm scared a little bit that maybe in my pursuit of this dream, I might actually be doing things that aren't fully supporting me. I'm figuring out how to support me to make this more sustainable because I love waking up in the morning and thinking about how I can share my gifts with the world. If I was just going after a job that was giving me money and only money, and I potentially was doing something of value, it doesn't necessarily have to mean that everything you do that's for money, it doesn't have value. But let's just say that I was sacrificing large parts of myself, because that's what happens in businesses for me. I'm a little shit when I join businesses because I don't like hierarchy and I don't like systems of like control and organization. I don't like having to hide, like what my true feelings are in order to please a boss. I start becoming a little subversive little shit. No one wants me to be part of that. And that's awful energy to be always tapping into. So I don't want to go out and just get a job because I know I'm not at my best. I know that the world that is receiving me isn't going to be shifted in any positive way because I'm not tapping into me. I think we should all be striving for something that makes us excited and alive in the morning and at night, and in those hours where we're lonely and in those hours where we're sad, we can at least look in the mirror and say, you know what? You're on the right path. It's okay that you're in a low right now. You're gonna come out of it and you're on the right path. And the only thing that tells me whether I'm on the right path or not is whether I feel like I'm connected to my heart and the expression of my heart fully, authentically, and that's all I got.